Canada has the Emergencies Act invoked. They are blocking cryptocurrency addresses to prevent truckers protesting COVID restrictions from accessing funds. I wonder your thoughts on the whole crisis.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff's definitely, like, getting a little crazy. Like, I think, like, my view on this is, like, if you're, like, if the truckers are blocking the roads and that's breaking the economy, like, fine, blocking the roads is illegal and there's laws against that. But, like, if they're not willing to actually, follow the processes, or if the government is not willing to, like, follow the processes, follow the laws, give people a chance to defend themselves and all of those things, and they just want to, like, talk to the banks and basically cut out people's financial livelihoods without due process. I mean, honestly, yeah, like, that is an example of the sort of thing that, like, that decentralized technology is there to make more difficult. So, like, it's also a good example of how, like, it's it is definitely, like, it's not about, like, being lawless, right? It is, in some ways, it's about bringing rule of law back, right? Like, they can still, like, you can still go at, like, find people, you can still go after people, you can still, like, go just act, the government and police can act lawfully as they always have. Like, this concept of, like, going after intermediaries and, like, basically using intermediaries as a way to bypass all that, like, it is dangerous, and I do think that, like, having decentralized alternatives to intermediaries is a good way to limit the damage that this kind of dependence on intermediaries can do.
When you're looking at Ethereum in the next couple months, like, what are the biggest challenges on your mind?
Getting the merge done, I think that's been the biggest challenge for a long time. It's a big problem. It's a problem that research has been working on for, like, almost a decade now. It's a problem that the developers have been working on for several years, and, like, now, finally testing, finally getting quite close to actually getting it out there. So I think the merge is going to be this big moment that the entire Ethereum ecosystem is really looking at and focusing on, and have people have a lot of big hopes and expectations for.
Meantime, we're seeing that the fees are coming down. There's been this deflationary from the burning of ETH effect. What do you say to the developers who are kind of frustrated with this and, are looking at other layer one?
Yeah, I mean, I think scaling is, like, aside from the merge, definitely Ethereum's biggest problem at the moment. And there are a lot of, like, different projects that are working to fix it. So there are the layer 2 teams, for example. Optimism, Arbitrum, Metis, Starknet, ZK Sync, Loopring, like this longer and longer list of projects. Then on top of that, there's all of the work that's been happening on sharding. We just had an online workshop where we talked about, like, some, like, parts of the sharding spec, and there's been a lot of really good progress on that. And I think there's like a lot of like community will to put a huge amount of effort into it. Like, research effort starting now, but development effort once the merge is like closer to being finished, and we're past that step. Then all the eyes are going to turn on to sharding and giving us some more scalability. So I'm confident that Ethereum is going to be much more scalable a year from now than it is today. And, like, even Ethereum today, I think rollups are much further ahead than they were a year ago, right? Like, a year ago, doing anything on a rollup was basically unrealistic, and they barely existed. And now, like, rollups are just a regular part of people's lives on Ethereum. And
you saw the exploit with Wormhole. Does that give you concern over the bridges between blockchains?
Definitely a concern. I think there's many different kinds of concerns. Like, I think the software bug issue was definitely one concern, and it's definitely one of the reasons why I'm, like, very dangerous or very cautious about solutions that try to move really quickly. There's other concerns as well, like, for example, just all of the issues around, like, how would the bridge even work? Like, if it's a multi-sig, then, could people steal the keys? If it has a governance token, could people take over the governance token? Could people 51% attack one of the chains? Like, I do think that once you start going between chains, there are all of these really complicated issues that don't exist if you stick on, like, any one of the chains. And that is a concern. I mean, the problems with moving between rollups, for example, are definitely, like, smaller, just because.
Bad idea, these bridges?
Yeah. I think the bridges are an interesting position where, like, the way that I describe it is, like, they have anti-network effects, in that I think cross-chain bridges become less secure the more users they have. And so, if there are only a few people using them, then I would trust them. I would say that they're very safe. But the more people start using them, the more incentive there is for people to attack them so they can like steal money from all the users at the same time. So like I would feel more comfortable using the bridges when they have 50,000 like ETH in them than when they have like 500,000 or 5 million, right? So like I definitely expect them continue to be used, but are they going to be this like really big thing that turns assets into something that's like very independent from which layer they're issued on? I would say no.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn 500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.